Hello, and welcome again to another tutorial. This time I've got a old Nikon F, which is very old. It has problem with the slow gear. It will say 1 second is really not. I mean, it's not 1 second. It's much less than 1 second. So, yeah. Let's have a look inside. Somebody else has been into this camera before me. The leather is quite old and dry. So, yeah. But that's it. What, what can you expect for a camera that is, 57, 58 years old, or maybe, maybe only 55, I don't know. I haven't checked. But the problem is, when I set it to some, let us try to set it some 1,000 a second, and the shutter is working, actually. If we set to 125, still working. But if we go like something a quarter of a second, not good. I mean, half a second, not really. 1 second. I mean, this is not 1 second. So, yeah. But everything else looks like it works, except for the self-timer. Also, there are two options with this camera. And it doesn't matter which, what controls I set them on, and even if the mirror lock up, it doesn't matter. Now, we need some tools for this old fellow. We need a screwdriver, 2mm. It will do the most of the job. And we need a 1.2mm screwdriver. And some tweezers. A sharp pointy, I like that. And a more with some teeth on to have a better grip. And I use my dentist tools, which I like. It's very handy for many things. And I need some special tool. I mean, so I have been in my workshop and filed and grind, because the retaining ring here, if you can see, I can turn this, but I need a fork or a kind of a special tool. So I made one. This is out of a 540 or so inches. I guess it's difficult to see. No, 516 inches. So, and it works pretty good. I filed and grind using my Dremel tool and a grinder. And it can actually go in directly here. And then I can just unscrew it. But later on. For this I put it on my little tool here to make it much easier to unscrew it. Now, the retaining ring that holds the top cover in place, which is quite big, I was in my workshop again finding a tool which I could modify, because I need to have two small pins here, there. This is actually to take the 5 or 6 gear on a racing bike, but it's a really good steel. The brand is ELDI, something 2657, made in West Germany. And it had the correct diameter here inside, and the length is also very good for this task. Now let's head on to this camera and take it apart. Now first we take off the viewfinder. This is not a photomic. It's just a ordinary prism viewfinder, and I will also take out the mirror so it's not in our way. It's very good to use the tweezer for that, and I will park it somewhere safe away. Now I will begin with the film advance top here, which is held in place by 3 set screws. Then I will use my 1.2mm screwdriver for that, and just unscrew it. Just loosen them. It's not necessary to fully take them out. This is just so you know where it is, and just lift it off and put it aside. We will have it here. Okay, the selector, I mean, this is not really a selector, it's just a so it will remind you if you have a 20 pictures film or 37. Very handy. Now there is a washer here which we need to also take out. Is non-magnetic, so I will just use my handy dentist tool. So it is, and under that there are 3 screws. And we need to take them out. I'll just use my 2mm screwdriver. And lucky they are magnetic. It is so much easier to take them out and put them somewhere. And also when I put them back in again, it will be a lot easier. They're all the same size, so there's no problem. So by lifting up the winder film advance arm, you just lift it out like this. So is on the back, and there is a retaining ring that keeps the whole thing in place. It has to sit I mean, it doesn't matter how it sits, but how to remove it, you just turn it clockwise and lift it out. it has to sit like this. So not the opposite. I mean, you can see it from, because this side is more curved. I mean, there are soft corners here. On the under side of this ring is more sharp. So it has to sit like this. So now that was part of it. Now it's easier to access the smaller lock mount nut or whatever it is, retaining ring, because I have to move the, I don't know what it's actually called, but this ring control, so I can find the little set screw, which is here. So this will be, well, around in the middle, I guess. And then I will use my 1.2mm screwdriver to put in and see if I can just loosen it. So that's enough. Now then my special homemade tool with two tiny pins on. I will show you when I take it out how it looks. And so I just have to catch the two notches in there and just unscrew it. So now it should be possible to take out the black thingy here. I don't know what it's called. The cover for the retaining ring or so. And then, if it's okay, yeah, just have to, where did it go? Okay. So it is here. But the tool I made is something like its first version, but it looks like there are two notches here and there. So the two pin have to go in and catch the notches, and then it's possible to unscrew it like this. So now that was that. So not really any problem with that. Now we're not done yet. I need to take the big retaining ring here around the film advance. It has a notch here and it has a notch here. So my special homemade bike tool made of that, it can actually fit very good. And then it should be, can sit tight, but this one was not very tight. And then I can just unscrew it. And here it comes off. And again it's the same. Two pins, two notches, there and there, and a pin there and there. So it will just move like this. So nice and easy. So the next thing is the exposure button. I will just set it to 1 second, doesn't really matter. And I set it to FX, it doesn't really matter in this case. And then unscrew the 2 small screws here. They are not magnetic, so when putting them back in, you really have to do it proper with help from a tweezer and your fingers. So it is. There is a spring in here, so when I take it out, it looks like this one. It can only sit in one place because the 2 holes are off center, so there's no problem there. Now the spring has a shape as a cone, so it has to fit like this when it goes in. So the narrow end has to sit upwards. And there we have another ring with all those yeah, I don't know what they call, but now we take the other side, which is here, and the film rewinder, and now it's time to take off. Oh, we got the push button here, shutter button. So now we'll take off the rewinder, open the house in the bottom and take it out. And look what I got. I got a screw. I don't know where it should sit yet, but I would guess it should sit somewhere in the front here, or maybe on the back. I don't know yet. But well, what can you expect? So to take off the rewinder, there is a small set screw here, and my 1.2mm screw will do that. Just loosen it, and then I can use my end of a tweezer just to loosen it. It's not really a problem, but you should keep your fingers on and just unscrew it, because there is a washer here. I mean, a spacer, would somebody say. And then the pin, and there's a spring. So now the top cover for the flash, it's held. Part of it is held. The top cover here is held by 2 small screws, which is also magnetic. Pretty handy. And then take out the small plate. Nothing special. The shiny side has to face upwards. The mat is down. Now, there is a small plastic thing for the flash contact here. Just this. Now, there are 4 screws that hold the flash shoe in place, and we can just unscrew them. Nothing special. All are the same length. And the last one. So they are also magnetic, so that's pretty good. And then the flash shoe thingy, which looks like this. There is a spring, and there's a slider thingy when the flash shoe slides in. The spring has to sit like this. I mean, has to sit like this, not the opposite. Has to sit that way, because this point here is higher than the you can see it here. This is a little higher than the other. Now, to get this screw for the flash, I have made me another tool, which I actually well, it's not the correct tool, but I don't know how to actually take this off by another tool or a, yeah. So I made this, and hopefully, no, not that. It was the other one. I made some tools today, so just because I need them. Where did it go? Well, it's actually a kind of a wrench. It's 4mm for 4mm knots, but I filed and grind this so it can also be used for other tasks. So I put it just over, and it should be possible to unscrew it. I haven't seen the right tool at all, so I have no idea how it looks, but it works. So this is a flash contact that goes into the yeah, another contact. So now that was something. Now we need to take off the nameplate with the 2 screws. As I remember, there is a flat washer all over, but I'm not quite sure. I don't know how the other people have worked with this camera, but there are just 2 screws. Nothing else. Nice plate. 2 screws. We put them aside. Now, the front plate here is held in place by 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. All the same size and length. So you little fellow, looks like they are, well, almost all are the same, but well, I would guess. So now it's time to take this plate off, and will be interesting what we have behind here. Some missing screw or whatever, but it looks like this. Here, yeah, I forgot. There's a long pin here where the well, I could actually have just unscrew it. Could it be possible? Yeah. I actually didn't need to take off the nameplate. It could just be where it was, but so it is. Now, put this aside. And actually, there should be some screws. There are one here, there. And now I need to take off the self-timer arm lever to take off the leather on this side. So I use a modified walking stick or compass or whatever name they have and make it very sharp pointy. So putting it on here, there, it should be possible to unscrew it. And then take this off the screw flat. There is a washer, kind of a spring washer underneath, and then the lever itself. Now, then it's time to try to get off the leather. It's very easy on this camera, but it's so dry, so I can just lift up the thingy here. Okay, there's another thing, and it's the retaining nut that hold this in place. Maybe I have one tool that can do that. Yeah. Okay, this is another wrench. It's 45 millimeter for 0.5 millimeter, which I also filed and grinded, so they have very sharp tips. And I guess it should be possible to unscrew it. Yeah. Well, okay, one have to lift up this one. Yeah, it comes off. I don't know what those dots here they're doing. I think they are not only decorating, but so this comes off. Here we are. Now, then it should be possible to take off the leather. I'm quite sure it is. So, it's fine, actually. One side, and then with the other, which is, I guess it will be a lot easier. But normally they stick together with stick on with some glue, contacts glue or so. Now, there is also other thing. There are some screws under here, hidden by the foam. And there are two of them. This one here you can see, and the other here. Maybe a first thing I should do, I should take off the the top cover. Which sits by one screw here. Just make some more space. And then lift up the top cover. So this is how it looks inside. Fine. Now I should also take the other side as when I'm here. Also another screw. I know they put them out of the frame, but so it is. Now, for I want to advance the shutter or the camera, so I will just put the this ring, retaining ring, lock ring, or whatever it's called, on here, so I can put on the advance arm. And I need my 3 screws. And luckily they are magnetic screws. So now I can actually advance the camera. So let's see if I can there's one more thing I need to take off, and just for showing it I will take off this plate that holds the rewinder. So it will come off. I mean, not off really, but as I can see, it's for the flash shoe. But I actually need to unscrew some part of it here, because to take out the mirror house, I need to take this off. And there's a small plate that goes from the oh, come on, like this, that goes from the push button that unlocks the focus, or what you say, focus screen. So now we should actually be ready to unscrew the whole mirror house. So I begin with the two screws in the back. It will be exciting to see where that one screw comes from. I don't know. I haven't been that far into this camera, so I have no idea how it looks. And then there is two screws down here. I mean, there should be. Wow, they're really tight. Small. So, and on the front, there's one over here. I can see someone has doing something in this camera, but of course I have no idea what's this. And this comes off, and then I think all should be there. There shouldn't be any more. Well, so let's see if I can lift out the Or maybe I should have the self-timer out. I'm not that sure, but I think it has to be unscrewed. So, or maybe only 2 of the short screws. Let's see what's happened. Yeah, here it comes. Actually, so now, ta-ta-da-ta-ta. So this is actually what's inside. So let's see what's happened if I cock the shutter and push the button. Oh yeah, there's something here that goes in. Shoot. This one has to be there. Weird. The shutter button is there. And how about... Okay, so if I push here, I can actually cock the shutter. Interesting. So if I push here, one second should be something like 1 second, which it is not. But so if I cock the shutter very slowly, now what could be wrong with this? Oh, when we're here, just take a look in the mirror house. What about the advance here? If I can cock the self-timer, I mean advance the self-timer, so it is. And if I push here, something should happen. But the problem is that the self-timer cannot advance the shutter button, or shutter. Yeah. So what's happened actually? It runs actually okay. So how about if I try to... Oh, there's something here. That can give an idea of what be wrong. No. So this pin here will engage with the self timer. So if no, it's not possible to. The front plate has to sit before the self timer has to sit on. So this pin was not in place. I would guess it is under. So when I push this down, I think, yeah, let's see. If I put on the mirror house, so the shutter button is pushed down, I think in that case I can get it to advance the come under this pin here and then press on the shutter button or mechanic thing. I think it should work so, but let's see if I can put it on like this. There isn't any else. This pin has to go somewhere. Oh yeah, this pin here has to go in here. So if I put this on, should it be possible to get things in place? Or do I need to put the self timer on after I put in the... I think so. So I will just take off the self timer here. This is only those two screws. I think it would work. So now I can actually see what's going on in here. So when I turn it upside down, then it should be possible to show what's going on. So this okay there. A tool. Then push the pin from the mirror box. Okay, what's going on here? This one goes there, this one goes there. Well, you see, it's interesting to work with cameras but it's also very nice to get it back to work. But sometimes it can be a little tricky. It goes there, it goes push on this. It push on. Well, sometimes it can be a little challenge to get things back in again. So maybe this shutter has to be released. I don't know. Yes, so it is. And then this thing goes engaged there. Wow. There is really something working. Okay, so the shutter has to be relaxed when putting in the mirror house. So that's good to know. But how about the self timer? Actually, there's something there that doesn't go very well. Let's see if I can figure it out. It seems to be a little, I think I better take it out. So I need to take off the bottom plate. It's here, held by 4 screws there, there, and there. More screws. They are all the same length. Now this comes off. So how about the self timer? No, the slow gear. This should be held in place by 1 screw there, and there should be another one. It's only held in place by 2 screws. So this one, and I think the other should be that screw here. So I guess so. Yeah, I think so. And then we just keep a finger here. Now it will be interesting to see what's really happened. The screws are same length. So if I want to take out the slow gear, it should be like something here. Here we have it. A lot of dirt. But it should go in here like this. So this pin is going into this fork. And how does it actually work? Okay, put it aside. It looks like it actually works, but there's something that I think is a bit sticky. Oh yeah, I can see the point here. So this here is a bit it looks like it is this arm. Oh, this arm here. Yeah, you see, it cannot really work. It's very, very sticky. So I guess I found the what's wrong. Maybe this screw is way too tight. Can it help? I'm not sure. No. So I will just put it into something lighter fluid and give it a little blast. Oh. Now, where's my long tweezer here? So it will have a deep shower. Just to free up the old, it could be rusty or something. See? No, I think it will work. What has happened to this old camera? But I'm sure it will work. Hopefully. And of course some good oil after this. After this bath. Yeah, now things are getting much better. So maybe it can help if I loosen it. Just to see if things works better. I don't know. But there's still life in this camera. Yeah, there are some rust here. So maybe there has been some water damage. It could be. What if I use some oil? Just yeah. This is just very thin sewing machine oil, which is very handy. Very, very thin. So how about things happen? What about this? Looks like it's free. In there you do not have to add any oil here on this one. It has to be oil free. It's just like an old clockwork. Part of a watch will not need any oil. That's just what I learned. Maybe I can use some other type of oil. This is for Special Schmiermittel mit Teflon. I hope it's correct, but I've tried this lubrication before and it's really good for modeling things. Small hobby thingy. I think it's weird that it is so sticky. Okay, one need to take off the need to have the lid on again. So I would guess I could take this arm off. Yeah, that's the error. Well, if I can take off that spring here. I don't know if it's possible. It goes all the way over to this pin. This is okay. But the same spring goes all the way over here and ended here. That was not fun. But I will try to take off the screw here and maybe it will tell me what's under. Yeah, I think it's really rusty. One can see what's going on here. I think you maybe can't see. But that doesn't have to be any. It doesn't have to be tight to sit really. I mean, in my opinion, it shouldn't be that tight. Oh, I need to change battery. Sorry.